live stream. Let's go ahead and set this back up. And today we got a good topic. I know I've been away for a while, you guys, but I am back. And yes, I think that we're going to have a nice live stream today. We don't have nobody in the live stream right now, but we are going to go ahead and we're going to get started. First of all, I want to welcome everybody to the live once you get in. And for those of you all who are going to be watching this live, on the replay, listen, comment in the comment section down below and let me know your thoughts on whether EV cars are really ready for prime time or if we should wait a while longer. Okay, and also let me know if you're going to be buying a 2023 EV car, EV in the year 2023 or 2024. All right, so with that being said, comment in the comment section down below. Anybody that's going to be in the live stream, let me know your thoughts on the EVs. Are you getting the EV? Do you think EVs are ready for prime time, considering the infrastructure and all the other things that are going on with EVs right now? I thought it was a good topic to have right now, simply because I don't think EVs are actually ready for prime time myself. Okay, but with that being said, let's go ahead, let's get started. Now, there's a lot of information out there about things that are going on with EVs and EVs. Like we got the Rivian, we got the Porsche Taycan, we got Tesla Model 3 that's still doing great. We got the Rivian. We also got the Chevy Bolt. So we're going to talk about some of these cars and what they have to offer and why you should really do your research on buying an EV car in 2023. Now, let's talk about the cost. Now, we're going to go over a few cars right now. Like, let's talk about the Chevy Bolt and Nissan Leaf. Now, the Chevy Bolt is going for $26,000. So far as the price is concerned, and also you got the Nissan Leaf that's going for $27,000. Now, with all these cars, right, that are coming out, are these cars really affordable? Yes, we know the Leaf is, we know the Bolt is, but really, is that the car you really want, right? Because let's talk about the range with those two. Now, you get 259 miles of range with the Chevy Bolt, which I did not know. I went ahead and researched it and found out a little bit more information about that, because there are people buying the EV Bolt. Now you got the EVU or something like that, right? And that car is probably just a tad bigger than the original EV, the electric Bolt. Now, the Nissan Leaf is going for $27,000, but check this out. You only get 149 miles of range with that car. Is that a car you really want, right? Do you really trust being able to not only drive the car from day to day, but also drive long distance with this car as well on the road? We're going to tie into a lot of things. So if you have anything to add, if you got anything that you want to bring to the live stream, listen, hit me in the comment section down below. Also, I need to let you know, if you guys want to donate, you can donate through Super Chat. If you enjoy the info that's being put out on this channel. So we got a couple of people that's responding right now. We got Justin Johnson said, totally agree. I love my 2022 Chevy Bolt. And he says it's worth it. He says also over 300 if you use the pedal. Okay, so he's saying that if you use the regen pedal, you can get more miles of range with that car, which is cool. I did not know that. Let's educate everybody on the live stream about a lot of the information that's out there that we don't know about, to help people be better prepared to buy an EV car. Okay, we got Caruso, if I pronounced that right. Thomas, he said here, yes, I still have my 2023 rear-wheel drive crystal white tricoat sky blue gray on order. You're talking about the Cadillac Lyriq, I'm quite sure. I have one on order too. I have the same thing, but I don't have the crystal white. I have the original color, which is the gray color. The satin gray. So I'm waiting for that, but I'm battling, you all. I'm battling with whether I should just keep my car, because every day I drive my car, I'm simply falling in love with this car more and more. For those of you all who don't know, I do have the Cadillac CT6 2018, and I'm telling you, I still get a deep lean in this car every single day I get in it. It still drives just like I got it off the showroom floor. So I'm going through, because they have pushed the Cadillac Lyriq back a little bit as well so far as delivery is concerned. I don't have the debut edition. I do have the order that I put in on the 18th of May. So I'm thinking we're probably not going to get it till maybe fall or the end of next year, is what I heard. I don't know how true that is. And Lamar said he drove one yesterday, and I'm believing he's talking about the Cadillac Lyriq, and I have yet to get one in my area, you all, and I want to be able to drive it because the car looks phenomenal. I like the interior. So I'm really ready to get in. I didn't even ask you all if you could hear me. I got the mic right here. It's a new mic, and we're going to push it off to the side. Just let me know if you can hear me, if you can hear me, if I should bring it closer, or if this is too close. All right. So with that being said, again, thank you all for joining the live stream. We also got Lamar that says it's a nice ride. Yes, it is. He said it also has leg room. I can tell. I can tell by the wheelbase in that car, and I have the same type of wheelbase in the Cadillac CT6, and it's very roomy in the back, and that's important simply because I got people that's going to be in the back, and we're going to be road tripping. I hate to have somebody's knee in my back and I can feel them doing the ride, or I have to raise my seat up. So I always buy a car that's going to have a lot of leg room, that's going to have a nice wheelbase, that's going to make for a comfortable ride. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's finish talking about this. So first of all, the Chevy Bolt, the Nissan Leaf, those are the prices for those. That's not a car that I'm going to buy. I like a bigger car because I have a family. But let's talk about the pricing of like the EV6, right? The EV6 is going for $41,000. When we talk about are EVs going to really be affordable? Because most people are going to move toward cars like the Mustang Mach-E, the Cadillac Lyriq, the EV6, also the ID4 and cars like that are a little bit newer. And that may have more miles of range. Now, the EV6, it's 41,000. You're going to get anywhere between, depending on which model you get, 232 to 310 miles of range on those cars. The GV60, which is Genesis brand, is going to cost you $58,000, and it's going to give you 248 miles of range. And then you got the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which they got different models that you can get, right? And it's going to be anywhere between 47,000 to 69,000. They got one called the California route. I've yet to dig in to find out what that means, how they came up with the name for that car. But I'm going to tell you, that's a heck of a name, right? And so with that being said, we already know that the Cadillac Lyriq is coming with 312 miles of range for the rear wheel drive. And also for the all wheel drive, we have yet to hear anything. And this is definitely for me depressing, because I would love to know more information about the all wheel drive, especially the range on this car. Not to say that it's going to be a deal breaker, but I would like to know what I'm going to be dealing with, because I may want to keep my gas combustion car compared to, what they're going to offer. And on that car, is it going to be a 2024 or 2023? I am not sure about that. But what I will say is that there's going to be some changes to the 2024 model, along with the pricing, which the pricing is going to be cheaper. So there's a lot of things going when we talk about the affordability of the Cadillac CT6, right? Not the Cadillac CT6 for electric vehicles. And it's something to consider. Can you really afford it? Because for the gas combustion cars, whether we're talking about sedans, whether we're talking about EVs, they are a lot more affordable when you talk about what is going to be your payment, so far as your lease payment and your finance payment for the car. I mean, you can get lower financing and a lower lease payment for that car if you get a gas combustion car right now. And so most of the cars that are EVs that you're going to get that's worth buying right now is going to be over $40,000. Now, they are talking about the Equinox. It's going to be $30,000, but that's the base model. And what does that come with compared to the other models that's going to come from behind the base model, which they have yet to talk about? At least I have yet to get that information. And yes, I know somebody had mentioned it in the chat about the Chevy EV. Now that one is nice. I was trying to talk my wife into that one because she's really trying to take the Cadillac Lyriq from me, and she's like, whatever, we're gonna say Cadillac all day long. So I got an issue on my hands with this Cadillac Lyriq and Cadillac in general. And so That's the thing people don't know right now. They don't know that these cars are not cheap. And once you tack on the taxes and fees, and you know already that these dealers are still putting add-ons on the car, they're still charging you over MSRP depending on where you're going to get these cars at. So how is the government moving people toward electric vehicles when they're not making these electric vehicles cheap and the prices are going up, especially for those of you all who love the Tesla Model 3, the Tesla Model Y, the Tesla Model X, and also the Tesla Model S. And those are expensive, and they went up on those cars 3, 4, 5 times already. So that's not making it affordable. Now, my Cadillac CT6 cost me $66,000, right? The Cadillac Lyriq cost $65,000. So that's in my ballpark. But when I bought the Cadillac CT6, there were incentives that came with that that allowed me to be able to get the price down. And those things aren't going to be available to me when I buy the Cadillac Lyriq. That's why I need to know everything about the Cadillac Lyriq all-wheel drive in order to make a better decision on whether it's worth putting down that type of money to bring down the payment to where I need it to be. And for me, I need the payment to be around $500. I am not paying $8, $9, $1,100 for a car when I could take that money and put it on a better and bigger house. And that's just me. So when we talk about affordability, it can be an issue for many people. And there's a lot of information out there about repos, people falling short on their finances for these cars. They can't afford them now, and they went out and bought a car that's costing them $1,000 to $1,300 for a payment for a car that may not be worth it. Yes, it's EV, but how much do you save on EV? I mean, anybody have anything on that? Do you think EVs are affordable at $50,000? Then hit me in the comment section down below. Caruso said, I also just got back from North America International Auto Show. I didn't drive it, but I got a chance to get into it. And I'm quite sure the inside is nice. He says, Caruso says again, I say a performance video on the Lyriq. I think he means saw. They tested it at 75 miles an hour to see how far it would go, and it only got to 280 miles of range at 70 miles an hour. I think that's pretty good if we're talking about the rear wheel drive, right? That's not bad, because you got to consider a lot of things that we're going to get into a little bit into the charging and what really drains the battery. But I wanted to know what you guys thought of the price. Do you think $50,000 is worth paying or buying an EV? That means for what you're used to, for most people, you can get a payment of $300 if you get a car that costs you anywhere between, let's say, 26 and 32,000. I say that because my daughter got one, so I kind of know how the pricing go, and that's going to be based also on the interest rate as well. Now, for those of you all who are watching this, who are new to this, know that the interest rate went up another quarter point. So this is the third time that it has went up again when we talk about affordability. Are electric vehicles affordable for most people? Because what I see right now is that the middle class is going to eventually be classed out of being able to afford and buy EVs in America as time goes on. People love Tesla. I understand why people love Tesla. But Tesla doesn't offer what I think other cars offer. So I would never consider a Tesla, but I cannot say that Tesla is a bad product when we talk about a car. Tesla has definitely dug their feet into the ground and built it from the ground up, and they offer something that a lot of other manufacturers can't offer, especially when we're talking about charging and when we're talking about decent range as well. Okay, so I think that it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be tough. I think people are going to put themselves in a position to default on the loan that they're going to take out for this car and not be able to afford it as the price continue to go up and people want to get into these EVs. Is really, really going to be difficult, and that's what I think. Okay, Caruso says, I have a feeling those with the all-wheel drive order may be disappointed with the range given that you are already going to take a hit with the dual motor. Yes, I agree. And that's one that I'm willing to take. Now, that's for me, right? So at $65,000, they're not allowing me to use my family discount. They are not going to be giving any incentives on this car. When you talk about just the GM rebates and things like that, they're not giving that. So pretty soon, all EVs, especially I'm looking at Cadillac, probably going to take this route when we talk about uh, you just dealing with the manufacturer, right? You don't have to deal with the dealerships no more, especially with the issue with them raising the prices over MSRP. And most manufacturers that dealing with EVs are really trying to take the Tesla route. And which to me makes a lot of sense when you just want to cut out the middleman. You don't want to have to worry about paying extra over MSRP or paying for unnecessary, and I'm going to say it again, unnecessary add-ons. And these add-ons that they're adding aren't just on new cars, they're doing it to used cars as well. So you got to go in with your mind open and pay attention to what these dealers and salesmen are talking about when they get ready to sell you a car. Look at the window sticker, find out how much this car is going to cost, and see if you can really afford it. Caruso has hit me with all the questions. If anybody else has anything to say, go ahead, put it in. No question is a dumb question, okay? So Caruso says, I paid $55,000 for my 2016 Lyriq. Oh, wow, really? So yes, I'm good with the 6295. Okay, with the rear wheel drive. Yeah, well, for me, I'm good. I think that I'll be able to afford it. I just want to know, what do I have to put down on this car to afford it. Now, another thing, because we got so much to talk about that I can remember in my head, right? So Ford and Tesla, for those of y'all who don't know, are not are not allowing you to buy, right, at the end of the lease. If you're going to be leasing, buy the car out. Ford and Tesla. So therefore, you're just going to pretty much be renting the car. And if that's the case, because I may want to buy the car at the end, let that be my option as well. But you don't get that option with those two manufacturers. I don't know if GM is going to ride that train as well as Hyundai and other manufacturers that's coming out or has these EVs on the road right now. I know Ford, I believe, is about to go there with theirs. So I think they started already. I am not sure. Caruso, I got you on the ELR 2016. Yes. But let's talk about something real quick, right? Since we don't have any more comments in the chat. The rebate. Now, for those of you all, again, who are new to the chat, who are new to buying EVs and you haven't really gotten all the information and you heard about the $7,500 rebate, listen, most people aren't going to get the full rebate. There is not a car that I know of right now, and I know I've been away for a little while. I've been trying to catch up with some information that I've been missing out on about not just the Cadillac Lyriq, but EVs in general. And what I'm finding out is that it is still the same. So I'm going to go over it with you real quick, just to refresh, right? So it's a $7,500 rebate. For the people who are going to be getting this rebate, if you're going to get the full rebate, you're going to be able to get this off on your taxes at the beginning of the year 2023, right? So whereas I thought that we were going to get this off up front. That's not going to happen until sometime. They're not saying exactly when, until sometime in 2024. That's when you're going to be able to get it off up front. Right now, there are no cars that's making, at least that I know of, that's in the range of being able to qualify for the $7,500 tax break. I think the only car that I know of is the Lucid Air. I think that's the only car where the battery is being made here and the car is being made here. The Lyriq battery is not being made here. but they are making 3 plants, right? And I have that information pulled up over here. So one is going to be in Michigan, another in Ohio, and another in Tennessee. Now, they're not going to start building those plants until 2023. So when we talk about the infrastructure, right, of the batteries and the charging, they are not there yet. We still have time. So when they build these plants, when they start to build the plants, it's going to take a while. It's going to take anywhere between 2 to 3 years to build these plants. So we still have a wait. What I don't understand is why the government made it so hard for us to be able to afford it when they're really pushing for people to go toward EVs. What they did was they made it harder because many of people aren't going to be able to get the full credit that they're looking for in these cars. Another thing you need to know is that if you're leasing the car, you're not going to be able to get the EV tax credit at all. Now, that's just the information I have right now. That can change. So take this with a grain of salt, and know that it's from what the government has given us is rough, right? We got to jump through a whole bunch of hoops in order to afford or get the $7,500 tax credit. Now, again, GM is going to be building 3 plants. They partnered up with LG to do so, but that's going to take a while. So in order to qualify for the 3750, which is half, 40% of the minerals requirements have to be made, and also 50% of the battery components have to be made in order for those cars to qualify. Not only that, for the sedans, the car cannot cost over $55,000 if you're going to buy an EV. That's a sedan. Now, if you're going to be buying a SUV or a truck, it can't be over $80,000. And of course, the Cadillac Lyriq fits in that range. The EV Bolt, the EV Leaf, of course, and then you're talking about cars like the ID4, the EV6, the GV60. I think they got a GV80 electric vehicle now that's out as well. So I don't know how much that one costs, but what I do know is that if it's over $80,000, you're not going to qualify for the 3750 at all. Me, I'm going to be leasing a car that I know of because I don't know how much this is going to cost to finance, especially with the interest rate being up. Now, what I have saw just recently, if you're going to be buying a gas combustion car right now, they're giving you a 2.9% interest rate on the Cadillac XT4, XT5, and the XT6. I didn't see anything for the sedans at all, but if you're looking for those cars, this is what they're going to hit you with. Now, I have seen another dealership that's given, let's say, 1.9% interest rate on a sedan. I can't remember which car that was, but they're out there. I do know if you're thinking about Cadillac, that's what it's going to be for now. But I don't know what the interest rate is going to be for the Cadillac Lyriq when the Cadillac Lyriq comes out. Okay, so jumping through these hoops are very, very harsh. I'm going to be looking out of pocket for a lot of money down to get it to the price range that I want it to be. And the reason for this live stream is just to open up a door for you to open up your mind to do deeper research on the car to make sure that you can afford this EV when you get it. Instead of having a car, you're going to end up having buyer remorse for having this car. You don't want to go that route, right? You want to make a conscious decision. So not having all the information for the Cadillac Lyriq makes me kind of sad because I would like to know these things right now. What is the lease plan? Because they don't allow you to build the car either. Most of these cars are going to come equipped with whatever features that they're going to have, except for the car that's going to have different models like the Chevy Blazer that's coming out along with the SS. Now, I don't know why they didn't do this with the Cadillac Lyriq, right? But they're going to have a front-wheel drive, a wheel-wheel drive, and an all-wheel drive. And I'm like, wow, they just went all out for the Chevy Blazer. I just don't understand GM's logic across the board for how they bring the features and just outright just it makes it confusing for people to understand which car they really want to buy. We got Jeffrey, we got Crusoe in the chat. He says, I'm in Ohio. The Warren, Ohio plant just went online. They just went online? Then cool. Then the information that I'm getting needs to be updated. Thank you for putting that out there. Again, we still got a couple to 3 years before they're going to be actually finished, but at least they are started. So therefore, pretty soon we'll be able to get that rebate that we're looking for. Jeffrey says, I plan to on buying the 2024 Cadillac Lyriq in 2023. Did you order the car yet? Right? Did you order the car? Hey, what's up, John C? Yes, we're here. We're back. We're back online. We're creating some videos for Cadillac Driven. For those of y'all who don't know, I started another channel, and that's why I was away a little bit. It took a lot to really get that off the ground. But that's going to be it for the rebate. There's more information online. I try to put some of this information that we talk about in the chat, not in the chat, in the description box after the live ends. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on, right? Let's talk about charging, right? Because this is very important as well. So when you're talking about getting a Chevy Bolt or a Chevy Leaf, right? From what I understand from the videos that I've watched from people who have been testing the charging for the different vehicles, the EV Bolt, I'm hearing takes about an hour to charge from 10% to 80, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's somewhere in that vicinity. Now, the cars that charge pretty good, from what I'm understanding, it's going to be the EV6, also the GV60 charges pretty good. And we know Tesla, right? Their charging system is online and off the chart. Nobody's charging compared to Tesla right now. Not Electrified America, not ChargePoint, not any of those, right? And that makes a difference. Now, for those of us who are going to use this car as a commuter car, that's going to be cool, right? It's not going to be an issue because we charge up at home and we're going to be driving around the city limits or city limit area for the most part, right? Occasionally we may drive the car out of state. So what I did was I put in a route. I was online. I was on the Cadillac website, and I went ahead and they got it where you can, put a destination in. And so I did that, right? And what I found out is that, okay, they're partnering up with EVgo. I couldn't find EVgo after I got after I got to Route 30 from where I live. There's no more. Now, there are other generic charging stations that's out there. But the question is where are they, right? Because another thing we have to consider is that where are these charging stations at? They're not like gas stations, right? Because the gas stations I go to 99% of the time are right off the highway. And most of these charging stations, we're going to have to go all the way to the left. I don't know how many miles down, all the way to the right. I don't know how many miles down, and that's really going to put you out your way so far as timing is concerned when you're trying to make it to your destination at a certain time. So by the time you go, I don't know, 5, 7 miles, 8 miles down the road, then you have to get there. How many people are in line for charging as well? Now, these are some of the things that you're going to have to consider, especially if you're the type of guy that's going to be on the road all the time with your EV car. And I didn't think about it in the beginning until I started doing research on it. And I found out that there's a lot of particulars that you have to consider when buying an EV, and that's going to be one of them. Another thing we have to consider is that, yes, gas stations have come a long way. I have yet to, let's say, research and found out how long it took for gas stations to get canopies over it, right? So when you go to a gas station, you're covered. If it's raining, if it's snowing, you're kind of protected from the element to a degree, right? Well, with 98 to 99% of the charging stations that I've seen out there, they don't have the canopies. So if it's thunderstorming and raining real hard, you're going to have to get out there and charge your car. First, for most cars, right, you're going to have to go to the charging box itself. You're going to have to put in your information. Then, of course, you take the cord and then you put it into the charger. You got some cars like the Cadillac Lyriq is going to have it where you're just going to have to take it off the hook, you plug it up, and then it's going to start. And that's cool. That's the type of car that you want. But not all cars have it. The EV6 doesn't have it. So I don't know how many other cars don't have it, but it's a question that you can ask when you get ready to buy your EV. Is this a one-point charging? Is it one click? Do I take it off and put it in? Tesla is the same way. Tesla started this, which makes sense. I don't have to worry about putting my credit card information in or anything like that. All I do is take it off the charging unit, plug it into my car. it reads it, and I'm all good from there. And that's what you want to have, especially if you're going to be out in an element where it's a thunderstorm or the snow is heavily blowing and it's freezing out there. And you're messing with the station trying to get it to work. Now, let's talk about something else you need to consider when you're buying a car outside of buying a Tesla. Those of you all who already know, Tesla has the best charging infrastructure out there. And yeah, I know they should because they've been in business for a long time, but I'm telling you, they perfected it and they did a really good job at this as well. All right, I'm going to take a break real quick. Hopefully I'll remember exactly where I'm at. And we're talking about charging, right? Charging on the road versus charging in the home. Caruso said, did you see the new screen shot of the Cadillac Lyriq Sport and luxury? I seen it a little bit. I couldn't really see a big difference, at least from the photos that I've seen. I may have to go back online to see if I could find any. But for the ones I've seen, I couldn't see no big difference. I've seen a slight difference in what would be the front fascia. But I really couldn't tell from the photos. The photos were kind of blurry. But one thing I'm looking for is the change of the handles. Now, the Tesla, I think it's a Tesla Model 3. I think it's Tesla Model S. The door handles come out. Why didn't Cadillac do that in the first place? They took the Ford Mach-E route with having that little shark fin on the door to open it up, which I really don't agree with. It just really takes away a little bit from the look of the car. And then getting in the rear, you have to grab the door. Sometimes it gets wet in the door. Why would I want to touch it if it's dirty and I got people getting in my back seat? So I don't think Cadillac thought that all the way through, or maybe they were just trying to save money. But they're talking about revamping the handle, and I hope they have it like, of course, Tesla, and also I think the Range Rover has it where the handles come out. That's a lot more convenient. I think it'd be a lot more structural sturdy so far as being able to pull the handle and grab it. You don't have to go through any tricks in order to open up the door like you do now with the Cadillac Lyriq and also the Ford Mach-E. I just don't like it, but I'm glad that they're going to do something about that, and that's for the 2024 model and not the 2023 model. So let's see what happens. Okay, we got Lamar Spencer says, it's a couple of EV Go stations by my apartment. Yeah, I have a lot of EV Go's in the area, but when I get ready to get on the road to go see my mom, which that's pretty much why I travel. I stopped traveling since the pandemic, so I don't go a lot of places. So this is why the Cadillac Lyriq will be a commuter car for me. And so that's why I don't have the issue with it. Plus, we're going to keep a gas combustion car in the loop. I have a Cadillac XT5, and we're looking to upgrade it to the new 2024 model of the Cadillac XT5 as well. So we'll have a gas combustion car to offset that if we really need to go on any long road trips. We got John R in the building. He says prices for EVs are going up. Are going to go up. The lithium price have gone up. Listen, thank you for that, because I was going to talk about that. The lithium prices through the roof, and the prices are going to transfer over to the consumer. How much we're going to have to pay for that, I do not know. But John R says it went up 4 times in the past year. Ford just raised their prices on their EVs by $7,000 to $8,000. Ooh wee! The past month. Wow! Didn't know that, right? This is what I'm talking about. A community that has the information to help people to be able to make a better decision on what kind of car buying they're going to be doing when they start going into these car lots to buy these EVs. But John R says, I would get the Lyriq at its price now. Yes, you're right. I agree with that. But the 2024 model, the price is going down for the rear wheel drive. I mean, by a lot. It's going back down to 60,000, but it's only going down 1,000 for the all wheel drive. Again, I don't understand Cadillac's logic at all. Caruso says it also allows you to map out routes, and it will tell you where you can charge as well as charging speed of the different chargers. You need to tell the app you have a Lyriq to see that. Yes, I know it does that. A lot of the cars, they're doing that already. I understand that. But I've been watching enough videos, right, with people's experience, not just on videos, but also online, how they're sharing about like the electrified America and charge points and some of the issues that, again, this video is about giving the information that people don't have right now. There are cases where people were on a road trip, made it to their destination, from the information that was given from the app in the car. And they got there and the Electrify America was not working, right? 3 out of 4. So they didn't have enough charge to get to the next town. So I don't know how they worked that out, but those have been some instances that have been taking place so far as road tripping is concerned with electric vehicles outside of Tesla, right? And you don't get this information on the app that is broken, that it has an issue, or, of course, they're supposed to let you know that it's in use. For the most part, they do that. But there have been many instances where people showed up at an Electrified America station. Either there were 3 pumps, 2 were broken, or there were 2 pumps and both were not, well, electric charging units, and they were not working, and that's something that scares me, right? Because if I get there with 10%, right, and that's kind of how the app does it, it lets you know where you should charge at what limit you should be at by the time you get there. And if you get there with 10% and it's broken, and there's none for another 50 miles, what do? Because it's just not like having a car where you can jump the car off if the battery go dead, or you could take it to the nearby gas station that has a repair facility. This is going to be different, horse of a different color, when you can't charge your EV. There's no truck that I know of right now that can come to you and give you the charge you need to make it to the next destination. And this is why I think the research for buying an EV before you buy an EV is so important. Lamar said the Lyriq door handles pops out and the door opens for you. Nice, right? Tesla has that to a degree where the door handle comes out and it unlocks the car when you walk up to it. I think that's pretty awesome. And I forget which car it is. I think it's the Mercedes-Benz or the BMW iX that opens up the door when you walk up to it. Now, I think that's awesome. Right? I think that's awesome. But also for women, I think it's going to be a safety feature, especially when they're out at night. Hopefully that could be something that could be turned off for the ladies, because men, we really don't care about it. We love the gadget, and something like that would be awesome. I just got to walk up to the car and open it without pulling the handle. I'm all for it. So yes, YouTube cars, I can't pronounce spottage, spot suicide, something like that. I'm sorry, I can't read it because it's broken up. Keep prices most of us away. Yes, most of us are going to be priced out of buying the EV car that we want, not just an EV car, because there's a lot of people that don't like the Mustang Mach-E that might want to get the Lucid Air, or that may want to get the Cadillac Lyriq, and the Cadillac Lyriq starts at $63,000. So with the EV manufacturers jacking up the prices from year to year, from not just $1,000 but to $3,000 and $7,000. Pretty soon, we're going to stay in these gas combustion cars, and EVs aren't going to take off, in spite of the money that they're going to spend on building the infrastructure for the EVs. Like Cadillac and GM are talking about going total EV in what, 2030, and I don't see that happening with everything that's taking place with the price of the car, with the infrastructure, with the rebates to help make this affordable. I think it's going to be a huge issue, right? Lamar says that's why I'm going to keep my pre-order for the Cadillac Lyriq 23. You got the 2023 all-wheel drive. Get my lighting back, and that's the one I'm ordering. I'm ordering the all-wheel drive as well, because I live in the Midwest. I want to have confidence, because I'm always late for work and I'm speeding. I shouldn't be, but I am. Right? So I need the traction to be able to keep up. I'm gone. I'm late, so I got to get there. YouTube Car says, I tow a 26 Airstream 800-pound hitch, 6,000-pound range, will not work. What do I do when I need to recharge? I do not know. I have yet, and I watch these videos all the time. I watch YAA. They really bring a lot of the information that people don't know about, that allows us to know what we're about to get into when buying these EVs. So I don't know. Caruso says, keep in mind that the United States has some of the largest lithium deposits out west. So the price will come down on the batteries. Well, let's see. I hope they don't go up, right? Because I don't want to pay no more than I have to. Especially, remember, these people are still trying to charge you over MSRP, and they are still trying to charge you for the add-ons. A YouTuber says, I can't wait to see the Lyriq in person. Neither can I. I get kind of jealous when I see it on YouTube. I also hear on a Facebook group that I'm a part of, Cadillac Lyriq enthusiasts. And a lot of people are getting the opportunity to sit in the car. I seen a guy had the opportunity to drive the car, and I have yet to hear any information about any Cadillac Lyriq in the area at all, even from the place that I pre-ordered from. So I'm waiting too. I just want to sit in it. I want to hold the wheel. I really want to play with that 33-inch display. I want to just mess with all the functions, see what all it does. I really like the fact that they're finally putting real ambient lighting inside their cars. Now, in the Cadillac CT6, it looks beautiful, but you can't customize the color. Now you can customize the color thing based on how you feel for that day or how you dress. I think it's awesome, right? Caruso say yes, but that is part of why the infrastructure plan will address, but it is not going to happen over tonight. No, it's not going to happen overnight. Lamar says the one pedal driving was tricky. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? The one pedal driving, I don't think I use. I just don't think I use it like that. And maybe on the road trip, right? Because when I go see my mom, it's that kind of funny road where you get a stretch of all highway, and then you come through these different towns, and that's when I think I would use the regen braking, especially considering that there are not a lot of EV stations on that route, and I normally travel at night, so I don't want to be going like 10 miles down the road in somebody's neighborhood in some cornfield trying to charge up my vehicle. I want to be able to make it in one drive, and the drive is like, I want to say, it's a 5-hour drive, to be honest with you. But the mileage is like 225 miles from home to where my mother lives. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but we will find out. But that's the only time that I think I would use the regen braking, because I'm so used to the way the car is now. So we really have to wait and see what happens, because I know they're going to feed me the information about how important it is, how you should use it, why you should use it. So I'll be open-minded to trying it just a little bit, but I don't know if I will or not. Caruso says, you have been the sub-variant Cadillac Lyriq yet? No. It looks like a Lyriq, but slightly shorter. It has a smaller battery than the Lyriq. I haven't seen anything, right? What I do know is I was at the dealership in my neighborhood a couple of days ago, and the guy says that he knows a person that went to GM's. I want to say they had a showing of all the EVs that they're going to be bringing to the market, and he's saying they already have a replacement for the XT4, XT5, and the XT6. So we were having this debate or conversation about GM being able to really go all electric in 3030, and I told him I didn't think so, and that's when he brought that information about, and I still don't believe that they're going to make that go. I mean, I hope they do, but I want to see if that's going to happen because of all these other requirements that it takes in order to get an EV car, EV vehicle, electric vehicle, and all the hoops and loops that you have to jump through, because we have yet to talk about some other things that are important. But again, I think Tesla has the best EV charging infrastructure when it comes to DC fast charging. It depends on what station you stop at with Electrified America. That's going to depend on what type of charging you get. And for what we've seen with Electrified America, although it says 300 kilowatt station, you may not get no more than 140 or something like that. So it's not as fluid as Tesla, and we've also heard Tesla is going to open up their charging stations to everyone. But how much more is that going to cost you? Now, for a guy like me who is going to use this car as a commuter car, and I'm going to do this road trip that I rarely do, then it may be worth it. I can budget for it, but I'm quite sure they're going to charge us a little bit more than the people who already have Teslas. So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to look out for. When I'm thinking about going out of town, because I'd rather stop at a place that's reliable. And I can't fully say 100% that Electrify America and ChargePoint and EVgo are reliable. They all have issues. They've all have put people in situations where they weren't able to charge, or they had to wait on the charger, which means that if a person is just charging and you pull up, your charging time for your car is, let's say, 40 minutes. So this guy just started. His charging time is 40 minutes. So that delays your trip a lot longer than it would have to, especially if you have to go off the road all the way to the right in order to get to the charging station. So those are some things that people have to consider when they buy these cars and thinking about doing road trips that they think are going to be just like doing a road trip in a gas combustion car. Say you and I both drive the same distance to see our mothers. Yes. So I am going to let you know what my first drive is like, since I should have my 2023 before you. That's cool. Listen, please do that. I would really, really love to know what it's going to take in order to get there. Do I have to stop, or can I do it in one trip? I got to come through the Chicagoland area, so I'm gonna have to learn how to use that regen braking, right? Because I always leave at a time where it's rush hour. I leave right after work. I get off about 2, 3, 4 o'clock. And I run into rush hour. So that's probably going to burn a lot. Okay, so don't go nowhere, right? Caruso says, I think that it will happen. I have seen 7 new EVs from GM brands, so they are making a hit. Yes, yeah. And let me tell you something. I think GM, for the lineup, not considering the Hummer or the trucks at all, let's just talk about their EV SUVs, right? The Equinox, the Chevy Blazer, the EV Chevy Blazer, the Cadillac Lyriq. All these cars look far better than any of Tesla's cars that they have out now. I will put in question, right, the Tesla Model S, which I think is their best looking car in their lineup. But GM has brought about some of the best looking cars so far as EVs are concerned out of most people, if not all, in the market. I know people will argue that the Lucid Air is the best looking car, but compared to the Cadillac Lyriq, no, not in my opinion. Not in my opinion at all. Cadillac slammed it. I think the Lyriq is the #1 best looking car on the planet right now when we talk about the exterior look. Now, when we talk about charging, yes, that's one that we can go back and forth with. I think Tesla it definitely is the best. I think the EV6 and the GV60 charging is better. They're saying 15 to 20 minute charge time from 10 to 80%, which is awesome. That's the charge time that I would love to have on the Cadillac Lyriq, but that's just not going to be the case. Okay, so you really got to plan out your route for what you're going to do with the family and friends that you're going to be traveling with. So another thing is that the different places that you're going to have these charging stations at, you're going to have to get used to that. Some at a Walmart, you may find some at a Target. You may find, one time a guy got routed to someone's home. So those are some of the things that we have to look out for when we consider buying an EV car. Now, let's talk about this, right? The last thing that we need to talk about, and I need everybody's input, right? Let me see what other people have to say in the chat before I get started. Okay, so I think this is probably, for me, the #1 major thing people need to consider. And then I think range and charging comes after this, right? Because if you're coming out of a gas combustion car, you have to consider this. Let me slow down just a little bit, right? Because we're almost done. We're 45 minutes, 48 minutes in. Again, I want to thank everybody for showing up. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. We got more talks, more videos coming up like this in the near future. Now, Let's talk about not battery degradation, right? Because I think we can all get past that, right? I think we're going to be okay with the battery degradation, especially depending on what EV car you get. I haven't heard any bad things about the battery degradation. I do know over the course of 3 years, you may lose anywhere between 4 and maybe 6% battery degradation. And that's all going to depend on how you charge, which people need to know that if you DC charging, battery degradation takes place a lot frequently, a lot more when you do so. They recommend that you don't DC fast charge all the time, but we got to consider that people are living in apartments and condos who really want these EVs. They like these EVs and they're going to buy these EVs. So a lot of the complexes have yet to put in the infrastructure for their housing complexes to be able to have these EV charging at home. So you have to DC fast charge, but I think it's still not going to be bad over a course of 10 years. I think you'll still be okay, especially if you're a guy that uses your car as a commuter car. If you're road tripping all the time, then maybe you might want to reconsider what car you get, for one, what kind of range that it has on it, and then battery degradation may not mean as much when buying that particular car and having to DC fast charge. I want to talk about what hits your battery the most and what makes the difference in really buying this EV. And so hit me, Caruso, and let me know. Jeffrey, if you're in the building, let me know as well. YouTuber, Cotspotter, suicide. Listen, hit me in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on this and what is the fix for this when people buy these EV cars. Now, here's the thing that they're not talking about from the manufacturer or from the dealership. They're not talking about what drains the battery, right? They are not talking about that. So if you're not watching YouTube videos on EV cars and testing of batteries, then you're not going to know any of this information. So with that being said, one of the things that's going to drain your battery a lot is weather. And I know I'm not talking about cutting anything on at this point. I'm talking about being in extreme heat, being in extreme cold, especially it gets cold here in the Midwest in the Chicagoland area, right? And we get down to sometimes 50, sometimes 20 degrees negative. But even if we're at zero, that's still cold for people who don't have garages, right? To help offset, the wind and the freezing cold that's really beating down the car. So that alone, understand, is going to drain battery as well. Now, for those of us who have a charger at home, we're good. We're not going to have to worry about that. The DC fast chargers, they will for the most part, but I don't think it's going to drain that much battery to the point where you're not going to be able to make it to work using this car as a commuter car. When you're on the road, it will. So when you're on the road, what are you going to do? Right? You're also going to cut on the heat because you want to be warm. I heard instances where people had to cut their heat off, and I'm not talking about on low. They had to cut it off in order to be able to make it to their next destination for charging. There are some people who ran out of charge because they probably turned their heat off at the wrong time, right? And they ran out of battery and they had to have their car towed home. So these are some of the things you need to think about when you get ready to buy your EV. And so not only that, so when it's hot, you're going to turn on the air. That's going to drain battery too. So you got a car like the Cadillac Lyriq that says, okay, you're going to get 300 miles of range. No, you're not. Not in weather like this. You have to consider that. Sometimes, yes. Now, the other thing you have to consider is wind. Wind plays another factor in battery drainage. So let's say you're getting all this at the same time. How much battery does it drain? I don't have that information for you, but that's going to be something that you're going to learn when you buy your EV car. I say get on YouTube, start researching some of this stuff, so you can be well equipped with the information you need before you make the decision to sign your name on the dotted line to buy an EV. Now, another thing is that, many of us, we take for granted that we're just on the road. The world looks around, but we think it's flat, right? And so we're driving. Sometimes you're driving an upper elevation, and that also kills battery range as well. So you really, really fully don't get the 312 miles that manufacturers are saying that you're going to get with these cars. It takes a while, so if it's a commuter car, many of us are going to be happy, like myself. But for those of you all who are doing road trip, like I'm going to have to do when wintertime come, like twice a year, I'm going in the cold. I'm going to have to consider that. I'm going to have to gain the experience on what it's going to take and where these generic charge stations at that I feel comfortable about stopping at on the road. But these are some of the things you need to know that's going to happen when you get your EV car. Yes, the weather elements drain battery quick, right? Sometimes 15, could be sometimes 20, depending on the combination of things that are happening, wind, elevation, cold, hot. What's good with some cars like the Cadillac Lyriq, the Mach-E doesn't, the Ford Mach-E doesn't have it, but for the cars that have a heat pump, which is something that you can ask about, that's going to make a world of difference and continue to keep a lot of the range that you will need to be able to make it to your destination or the next charging station, which is awesome, right? So make sure you ask about that too when you go into the dealership and you start talking about buying an EV car. But I really suggest that you continue to do a lot of digging on a lot of the factors that you need to know about buying an EV car, from the price to the rebate to the battery charging infrastructure that's not really there yet. And before I go so far as the charging infrastructure, GM has partnered up with EVgo, and I'm quite sure this is going to be open to all cars that want to charge DC fast charging at these stations. But they partnered up with the Flying J, the travel centers that are on the road, and you're going to be able to stop at a lot of these going down certain highways to be able to get to a charge, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable not having the range anxiety that a lot of people have when they're on the road, worrying about where's their next charge going to take place and if they're going to make it. So, but that's going to take time to build this infrastructure too. Could take anywhere from 2 to 3 years for all of this to get set up. Right now, it's just talk. I don't think anything has taken off yet. I have yet to see any of the information, but that's going to be nice. I mean, to be able to stop outside, right off the expressway, and you go in, you can go buy, you something to eat. You also get the canopies that are over. Hopefully, there's going to be over the charging units when you stop in these Flying J travel gas stations. So look forward to that in the near future. They are working on it. Battery infrastructure, charging infrastructure. But again, it's gonna take time. All right, you all, that's gonna be it. I really enjoyed doing this live stream. Thank everybody for showing up. If you're watching this on the replay, hit me in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But thank you guys for showing up. We have another live stream coming up, possibly this week or maybe the beginning of next week. So with that being said, I'm going to see you all at the next video. I really enjoyed you guys. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you all at the next one. Take care.